Well, happy Monday. Thanks for being here today. It's kind of cold for a t-shirt, but I decided I was wearing my new t-shirt today. Be brave, be strong, be kind. And it's just a good reminder for me to live that way and use some positive affirmations for myself each day. So welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Nate. I hope you've had a great weekend. Mine was very good. I went to Amish country in Ohio, Berlin, Ohio, for a creative weekend hosted by a creative memories consultant, and two of my Stampin' Up! Demonstrator friends invited me to go. Two of us did card making, one did scrapbooking. So fun, wonderful people, and it was great because I did not have to plan or do any of that. So very different than attending my own creative escape weekends that I work so hard for. But I got a lot done and it was just fun. Came home tired, but not too tired to watch the Bengals and the Chiefs game yesterday afternoon. And Hooday, Bengals won. The Cincinnati Bengals won. My family lived there for 17 years, so I have lots of family and friends there. And everybody's excited. The whole state of Ohio is really excited for the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. The first time in, I believe, 30 years or over 30 years, something like that. So that was lots of fun, but it's back to work Monday. And I have some fun projects planned for you. And they're all using one stamp set. But I'm going to show you some different ways to use that stamp set. Before we get into making those cards, though, I want to give you a reminder. Tomorrow is February 1st, so it is the last day. The last day. Okay, everybody heard that. The last day to register for my Blessings of Home class to go. With option 1, you will get the Blessings of Home bundle, the classic matte dots, and all the supplies you need to make 6 different cards. Then I also have option 2, in which you get the embellishments plus the supplies to make the 6 different cards. And finally, option 3 is always the PDF tutorial only for $15. So there's something for everybody. If you need information on that, you can find it on my blog, stampinpeace.com. I've also sent out some reminders through my newsletter and through Facebook, so you'll be seeing those as well. If you still have trouble locating the information, just email me and I will get that to you right away. All right, let's get started. We'll be using the Amazing Silhouette stamp set today, and I want to show you 4 different ways to use that. I'm going to flip my camera around now, and while I'm doing that, please share this live, inviting others to join us this afternoon. Also, the last day of January. As of right now, I'm less than $900 away from meeting one of my major milestones in my Stampin' Up! Career, and that is $400,000 in career sales. Less than $900 away. So if I can help you place an order, I would appreciate it very much. If you are in need of anything and want to place an order on my website, it's right here, and I ask that you use this January host code. Alrighty. All right, Amazing Silhouettes. This is the stamp set. It does have a coordinating die set. The dies do not match. In other words, they do not cut out the stamped images. However, they are coordinating dies put with this set. And they're words that say thanks and you are amazing, and they're layered. I'll give you an example. So here's one card I made using that word thanks. So it gives you the actual script, and then it gives you another layer of background. But we're not going to use those today, just the stamp set, okay? And then if we decide we want to add a sentiment to our different cards, I'll pull from Special Moments, which is my very favorite stamp in the celebration brochure. You can get that free with a $100 purchase. All right, for my demonstration today, I'm going to focus on this tree. All of these are great. You can do these techniques that I'm going to show you with any of them, of course, but today I'm focusing on the tree. So for this first one, I'm simply going to do simple stamping. Does anybody know what I mean when I say simple stamping? With simple stamping, we have 3 key supplies: stamps, ink, and paper. I also like to think of it as SIP. So kiss and sip. Keep it simple stamping with stamps, ink, and paper. So I've got my stamp, I've got my ink, and I've got my paper. So I'm just going to ink this up really well. This is a quick and easy card. Let me put this underneath here so you can see that white cardstock a little bit better. And I'm just going to stamp this off to the side. My white cardstock is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Simple as that. And let's put a quick sentiment on here. I'll stamp it in the same color. How about, I'm going to use With Sympathy. Is that it? No. You can see I'm having trouble seeing these without any readers, but I'm supposed to be testing my vision without readers, per the doctor. Okay, With Sympathy. And I'm just going to add this to my Shaded Spruce card base. Another one. I'm using both Shaded Spruce cardstock and ink for this demonstration. So there's one quick and easy way to use the stamp set. And of course you want to put the white inside. Don't forget your white when you're making your cards. Even if you're not going to stamp on it right away and don't want to adhere it yet, at least tuck it in inside your finished card so you have it ready when you're ready to send that card. Okay, simple stamping. Now here's another one. We could consider this simple stamping as well, stamps, ink, and paper. But for this, I'm actually going to stamp directly on the Designer Series paper. So once again, I'm going to ink up that tree with the Shaded Spruce ink. I'm basically making the same card, but I'm stamping directly onto the Designer Series paper. And this wood grain DSP comes from the, let me think of it, In Good Taste Designer Series paper. Okay, In Good Taste Designer Series paper. It's the one that features the wood grains and bricks and stone and sweaters and walls, all kinds of different things that provide texture. I'm just going to stamp with the With Sympathy again. And now I will mount this to my garden green. All of the measurements for all of the cards we're making this afternoon will be written out when I put this video replay on my blog later this week. And this is a little stretch for me, but I was trying to think of a different color card base, and I realized that this wood grain actually looks nice with the cinnamon cider cardstock. So that's how I got cinnamon cider and garden green working together. Now, if I want to add just a tiny bit of embellishment, I can use this double bow I made with the, what do I want to say? Linen thread. I'm just going to add it right up there for a little extra touch. Oops. Put this right inside. All right, for the next two cards, we're going to do some heat embossing. I know many of you like to see heat embossing. The first thing I need to do, though, is clean my stamp. I'm going to close this up for now. I'm going to clean the stamp really well. And then I'm going to ink this up. Oh, it's right here, I'm sorry. My Versamark ink. And I'm also going to have my heat tool ready. I've got my white embossing powder. And let me just fold this. So I have a place to scoop up that embossing powder after I apply it here. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply this Versamark ink. This is clear ink, but it's really tacky, sticky, and it's just what you need to do heat embossing. You need this Versamark ink with your embossing powder. And because it's clear, you can use it with any color embossing powder that you have. Ours comes in two sets. One set is the basics, black, white, and clear, and the other is metallic, gold, silver, and copper. But it works with any color of embossing powder. And you can see I'm pretty much doing the same layout. I'm always stamping on the left side of my cardstock or paper. I am going to spread the embossing powder all over this. Tap it off. That looks pretty good. Now, it's always a good idea to put your embossing powder away or even set it aside before you turn on your heat tool so that you don't have powder going everywhere. It takes a few seconds for that embossing powder to start melting. I think you can see it happening now. Just hold your heat tool at an angle, pretty close but not touching the cardstock or the ink. And then as the ink melts, move it around to the areas that have not been heated or melted yet. And when it looks like it's all done, just go back over it quickly to make sure you haven't missed heating any spaces. Oh, not as straight as it could have been, huh? But I think it'll still work okay. I'm going to go ahead and add the sentiment, but this time I want to see if it fits on this. I came across these labels that I must have had left over from another project. So I thought, oh, if I can use these today, I will. Let me put it under here, see that Stampin' Pierce mat underneath so you can see it better. This might be a little bit large, but I'm going with it. There's my With Sympathy. And let's put the rest of the card together. I'm going to add here my Shaded Spruce cardstock to a white cardstock layer. And then both layers will be adhered to my card front. And then I'll just add this with a couple of dimensionals. How many of you got some crafting in this weekend? Oh, Elizabeth, thank you. She says, nice soothing look to the cards. You might want to go ahead and add some, maybe some little embellishments on each side or somewhere else on the card front. But there's the third one. Okay, so we've done white embossing, white heat embossing on our Shaded Spruce cardstock. Add this to the inside real quick, and then we'll go on to our fourth one. Now on this next card, we're also going to do heat embossing, but this time we're going to emboss white on white, okay? And then do what the technique is actually called Emboss Resist. And you'll see what that means in a moment. So I'm going to ink this up again with Versamark Ink. Go over it really well to make sure it's all and nice and tacky and covered evenly. I'll add that white embossing powder. Brush that off just in case. And now I'll heat this up. And once all of this is, all of the white embossing powder is heated and melted to the cardstock, we'll continue and we'll use some of our Shaded Spruce ink for the Emboss Resist technique. Since this is white on white, it's a little bit harder to see how that embossing powder is melting. So I want to go over it really well to make sure I don't miss any spots. And as I'm moving this around, what I'm looking for is to see that it looks shiny and wet all the way around. If it's looking shiny and wet in all of the places, that means all the embossing is done. All right, for this next step, I'm using my Shaded Spruce ink, but I can use several different supplies to apply the ink. I can use a sponge, I can use sponge dauber, or I can use our blending brushes. So I'm gonna let somebody else decide what they want me to use. A sponge. Let me find my sponge daubers here. They the way back, the sponge daubers or one of my blending brushes. And I'll wait for one of you to suggest what you'd like to see. It looks like, I have to get up close so I can see. Looks like blending brush kind of has the, is the most popular choice. So that's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to swirl my blending brush in the ink pad. Go back and forth, make sure we're picking up ink evenly. And then I always like to start on scrap paper. I just want to brush this one more time, make sure I don't have any embossing powder on there. But I like to start off on my scrap paper, my grid paper, whatever you have, kind of swirl it, and then go on to, and I realized I forgot one thing here. And then I'm going to go on to my cardstock. And I'm actually going to cover the whole piece of cardstock. And I can make it darker by adding more ink. Again, I like to start off, and I want to make the area around the embossed tree darker. See how it's picking up all of that ink? And then I should have had a paper towel here, but I forgot. Then I'm just going to start wiping off some of, some of the excess ink on top of that white embossing. And you can see as I rub, the rubbing actually works better with a paper towel, I'll tell you that. But since I forgot to bring some over here to my craft desk, I'll use this clean sponge, and it's working okay too. So basically the technique, Embossed Resist, the embossed areas are resisting the ink that I've applied. So this way I have ink all around the embossed areas and inside the embossed area. So that gives you an idea of what Embossed Resist means. And again, if I wanted to go even darker, I could. I would just add more ink to my blending brush and go back over again. And then I would, once again, I would need to rub that ink off the embossed areas. So whether you want your ink to appear light or dark is up to you. It's just a matter of taste. There's no right or wrong way. But again, you could apply the ink with the blending brush like I did. You could use a piece of sponge like is here, or you could use your sponge daubers. No matter what you choose, you'll pretty much get the same result because that heated and melted embossed powder will resist the ink. And you can see how the ink gets in the little spots and all the little crevices, but it really is a fun, nice technique. I got my fingers really inky. Let me wipe these off a little bit. Okay. Set this to the side. I will stamp the sentiment once again. So you can see I'm using pretty much all the same stamping and paper crafting supplies, but just a few changes to each one gives me some very different cards. That aside and this aside. All right, so let's finish up this card. And then I'll show you one more technique. For this card layout, I've actually cut 2 pieces of the 5 1/4 by 5 inch because I want to mount this piece on the white. I'll add this to the front. And then my other piece goes on the inside. Can you think of other stamp sets you would do this technique with? You could even emboss the words and add some ink around it. It works for lots and lots of our stamps. It's a fun technique to use. All right, let's do one more thing. For this though, I'm going to, so I should show you, let's review really quick before I go on to the next one. So the first card I made, simple stamping, right? Just stamped with shaded spruce ink on the white cardstock. The next one, also simple stamping, stamps, ink, and paper, but instead of stamping on plain cardstock, I stamped on a light colored designer series paper. For the next one, I embossed with white embossing powder on the shaded spruce cardstock. And finally, we did the Embossed Resist technique with the same colors, white and shaded spruce. I keep wanting to say garden green, and I know it's not garden green, it's shaded spruce, right? Yes. I don't know why garden green keeps popping into my head. Okay, let's do a different one. This time I'm going to, I wasn't going to use the tree, but now I'm wondering if I should. Oh, let's just switch out. Nah, let's use the tree. Yeah, we'll use the tree. So this is, I'm going to make this 3 inch by 5 1/2. I have no idea what color card base I'm going to put this on. But for this one, I need to use my, you know what? I am changing my mind. I don't feel like using that tree. I'm going to use the butterfly because this idea came to me later after I decided I was going to show you this technique as well. So I'm going to use the butterfly instead of the tree. I'm going to use the Versamark ink again with it. But before I do any inking and stamping, I'm going to pull out my soft pastels assortment. And with this, I'm going to choose 3 different colors. I think I'll do, and how about this one? And what I'm going to do is, and I have to remember what the colors are in here, and I'm probably not going to be able to see it. Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green. Oh, this is frustrating. I can't see it. It's so small. Mango Melody, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Poppy Parade. So I've got Poppy Parade. I've got, what was this one? Mango Melody. I might switch that out. I'm going to switch that out for Daffodil Delight. And then I've also got Coastal Cabana. So before I do what I need to do with those, I am going to pull out, you know what? I don't want to use those. I would need new ones or clean ones. Sorry about that. Okay, here's some clean ones. They are stained, but they are washed and clean, so I won't be getting, oh, what happened to that one? It lost its top. We won't be mixing colors. So I'm just going to use the blade of my paper snips, and I'm just going to create some chalk dust. So there's the Poppy Parade. This is, what did I say? It is Daffodil Delight. Doesn't take a lot. And then finally, Coastal Cabana. So now my plan is to stamp 3 of the butterflies with the Versamark ink. So I'm going to ink this up really well. And do this one up here. And I'm going to do them one at a time because I don't want the Versamark ink to be drying on each of the butterflies when I'm daubing on the first one. So basically, you're just going to go around the image you stamped, and I'll put it this way so you can see. So the gray areas are the areas that are going to pick up the chalk dust that I've created using the Stampin' blends. And you can just flick it off like that. See how? And then I'm going to repeat the process of stamping with the Versamark ink. I'll put one over here. And this one. And you do want to change to a clean sponge dauber. It's okay if it's stained, but you need it to be clean and dry. Oh, I see some right here that I missed with the Poppy Parade. I'm going to go back in and see if I can pick that up. Oh, yeah. So if you see that you've missed any areas, it's easy enough to just go back in there and add some more color. And they're all going to turn out a little bit different just because of the chalk and using the sponge dauber. And for the last one, I'm going to go right in here. And I'll be using the Coastal Cabana chalk dust for this. So this is an easy, fun way to not only use your Amazing Silhouettes stamp set, but also to use your soft pastels. And I kind of tapped my powder on. I guess I think it makes it stick more. I don't know if it does or not, but you can also kind of swirl the color around if you want. Now, if you swirl the color on, you're going to get more of that residual color around it, whereas if you're tapping, there will be less of that. Okay, let me close this up. I'm going to move my sponge daubers, and then we'll finish up this card. And this is the card I will be giving away today. So just to refresh your memory, I've used 3 colors: Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, and Coastal Cabana. So I need somebody to choose one of those colors to be my card base. And I'm just going to, what am I going to do with this? Let's just do this, cover it up like this so it's not flying everywhere. I'll leave it like that for now. So let's see, Sharon says Coastal Cabana. Oh, Lori's in there quick too, also saying Coastal Cabana. So let me grab that. And I will cut a card base. Now, you all have probably seen me do this. You know, when I do card bases, I always do 2 at a time because you get 2 from the same sheet of designer series paper. So what I do is I go to 4 1/4 inches if I have this in the vertical position, cut it in half, so that's 4 1/4, and then I turn it the other direction and cut it in half, and it's 5 1/2. And the same would work the opposite way if you want to score at 5 1/2 and cut at 4 1/4. They still make 2 A2 size cards. It's just that one will open at the left side like these, and one will open at the top. And this will go on there just like that. I do want to show you, as long as I have the Versamark ink out, I might as well show you this as well. So you can, I'm sure I'm on a flat area. You can actually use the Versamark ink to give yourself some tone on tone. And by that, I just mean stamp randomly with your Versamark ink in the card stock. And it'll take a few minutes for this to show up the way I want it to, for you to see. Thanks to all of you who have shared. I appreciate that so, so much. You help me reach new viewers and possibly even new customers and new team members, potential customers and potential team members. And I really, really appreciate your support on that. All right, close this up. So now you can see as this Versamark ink starts to dry, you can see, I hope you can see that, can you? I'm trying to, there you go. You can see that tone on tone effect it leaves on my cardstock. And if you wait a few minutes, it does take a few minutes to see the full effect, but that's basically it. So that's a new fun way to use your Versamark ink. Give a little texture, a little shimmer to your background. And then I'm going to adhere this to the front. This piece measures 5 1/2 inches by 3 inches. Looks like I'm going to need to trim this just a little bit to be the same length as the card. Oh, maybe not. I guess it's okay. And we have that. Let's see if we can add a sentiment to that. Okay, I found some more of these. I think I was cutting these for my creative escape weekend and got a little carried away because I have several left. Let's see what would fit on here. Ooh, I like this one. Is it this one? Yes, I think this will fit. Does anybody have the Special Moment stamp set? This truly is my very favorite in the celebration brochure. It is one you have to have $100 purchase to get, but I am telling you, it's worth it. I have used it so much. I hate to think that it won't be around forever. I'd love if they'd carry it over to the new catalog, but I can't say that's going to happen. I think I'm going to stamp this with Poppy Parade. Or should I do, maybe I'll do Coastal Cabana. What do you think? Coastal Cabana or Poppy Parade? Which ink shall I use? Sharon, you have that one. Wonderful. And you would love it. The font on the Happy Birthday is great. I've used that lots. Thanks for brightening my day. I've used the Sympathy. I've used the Friend. Thinking of you. I have something for you that's cute to put like on a little favor or a little gift card. Okay. I see. Oh, you guys are so divided here. Coastal Cabana and Poppy Parade. So I'm going to scroll back and see. Somebody else says, looks like the first couple are Poppy. So we'll do that for a... So I'm going to ink this up, and it says, I think you're wonderful. Try to get that on there straight. And I do think you all are wonderful. I appreciate your support and your encouragement so much. I hope I feel like I don't say it enough. But I do really always appreciate the support you all give me, whether it be through viewing, through sharing, through purchasing, through joining, whatever it may be. Big or small, it all matters to me, and I do appreciate it. Oh, I love this card. I love how it turned out. And I kept watching the time thinking, I want to show them this technique. So I'm glad it worked out that we had time to do that. So there is the last card. I will add a piece of white to the inside, and this is the card I'm going to give away today. So if you would like to receive this card, if you want your name put into the drawing, and hopefully your name will be drawn, then I would like you to type Amazing Silhouettes in the comments now. Amazing Silhouettes. Let me put a little something under there so you don't have so much glare. Is that better? Amazing Silhouettes. Type that in the comments now if you would like to be entered into the drawing to receive this butterfly card with the sentiment, I think you're wonderful. Does anybody have the Amazing Silhouette stamp set? And have you used it yet? I think it's one that might be overlooked. People's first thoughts were, oh, you know, I didn't really like that. It didn't really appeal to me, whatever. And that's perfectly fine. I know we all have different tastes. But when I hear that, my thought is, oh, there's a challenge there. There's a challenge there. What can I do with this to get people to see the different ways they can use it? And I think we were pretty successful at doing that today. Here's the simple stamping. We changed it up a bit, still using simple stamping, but we stamped onto designer series paper and added an embellishment with that bow. Then we did stamping with Versamark ink and used white embossing powder with our heat tool. And then I also showed the Embossed Resist technique, where I stamped with white, with Versamark ink and used white embossing powder, heated that, and then applied color over it, around it, in it with my blending brush, and then wiped off the excess ink from the embossed white. And then finally, I also showed you how to use this stamp set. We switched over to the butterflies for some fun. Also showed you how to use this stamp set by stamping with the Versamark ink and then adding color from our soft pastels assortment. And I really like the way this turned out. Jean, that's what I'd like to hear. If you haven't used it before, or you overlooked it, or thought you didn't know what to do with it, I hope these ideas helped you so much. Oh, Beth, what a great idea. Beautiful with Blushing Bride. I bet that is gorgeous with Blushing Bride. So pretty. All right, are there any questions before I say goodbye? I'm scrolling back quickly to see if I missed any questions during the demonstration. I think we're good. All right, stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy. I know some of us are kind of looking at maybe some crazy weather this week. And some of us are concerned when we see the COVID numbers. Do whatever you have to do to keep yourself and your family and your friends safe and healthy. Get some crafting in this week. And I hope you'll join me again on Wednesday evening at 8. I've got something fun coming up, so I hope you will join me for that. And until then, happy stamping, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.